So good evening once again, everybody. In our last class, we started out by touching on some Google Workspace applications, right? And today we'll quickly round off on those Google Workspace application. And if time permits, we would be looking at Slack, Trello, and Zoom, all right? If time permits, we'll see how far we can cover all that. So without wasting much time, let's dive right in. To begin, we head over to google.com as usual, and then over to the 9 dots here, click on that, and it gives us a drop down of different Google Workspace application. All right. So in the video I sent out, I touched on Google accounts. We looked at Gmail. All right. I think we also touched on Google Meet. Is that so, Priska? Did we touch on Google Meet? Is Priska
Yes,
still with us? Okay, great.
yes.
All right, great. So for those of us who complained earlier when the training started that we don't understand Google Meet or we are not conversant with it, please refer to that video and familiarize yourself with Google Meet, because Google Meet is presently what I'm using to present this very training. So get used to it. I believe we also just touched on Google Contacts. All right. So today we'll just continue with Google Drive. Priska, did we cover Google Calendar in that video?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll touch on Google Drive, and then we head over to Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, and finally we'll round off with Google Forms. All right. So let's get started. Google Drive. All right, so as the name implies, Google Drive is just simply a cloud storage. All right, for many people who use Android or other forms of smartphones, okay, I'm sure you probably either have an inbuilt memory card or you have an external memory device. All right, the aim is the same, to store your files, okay, to store your files either as a backup or so as not to fill up your phone memory space, okay, or your phone memory. All right, so the same thing applies. Just like you have your flash drive, the same work to store files. All right, the same thing applies to Google Drive. Google Drive is like a file storage. However, the difference between Google Drive and other forms of drives that I've mentioned just now is that Google Drive is a cloud storage. When I mean cloud storage, it means it is a kind of storage that you cannot touch, rather. You cannot touch it, neither can you feel it. All right. But you could see it because it's basically a virtual storage, and it's usually operated in the cloud. By cloud, I mean on the internet. All right. So if you own a Google account, by the virtue of your Google account, you are entitled to what is referred to as a Google Drive. And the size of the Google Drive that you're entitled to is seen right here, 15 gigabytes of Google Drive space or memory. Okay, so you have 15 gigabytes, just like many of you have 8 gigabytes, 8 gigabyte memory card in your phone. Some of you have 64, some of you have 128. The same thing applies to PCs. You know, PCs have 512 memory hard disk. Some of us use 500 hard disk. Some of us have 1 terabyte, and the rest of them. Same thing applies to this particular storage size. All right. So for the free version of Google account, you're entitled to 15 gigabytes of Google storage. But you can upgrade this if you feel you need something bigger. How do you do that? Just click on buy storage, and it will take you through the process of how you could get a higher size of storage for yourself. You might be wondering, how is the storage being filled up? Whenever you save anything at all on your Google account, it is saved in your Google Drive. Okay, so if you're receiving emails with attachments, say pictures or videos, and you're wondering where are these things being saved, all those are saved in your Google Drive. Your emails are saved in your Google Drive. Your what do you call them? Your documents, we'll be seeing that briefly. They're all saved in your Google Drives, okay? Your music and the rest of them, even the Google contacts we touched on previously in the previous video, are all saved in your Google Drive. Your passwords are all saved in your Google Drive, all right? That is why you see the space being reduced as things keep occupying them, all right? So we'll begin with the navigation. At the top here is a Google Drive symbol. A click on it will bring us back to this present page. On the left plane is the menu plane, and on the right plane is the result of whatever is clicked on the menu plane. At the right hand side here, similar to what we saw during our Gmail tutorial, all these are like other Google applications that are add-ons to your Google Drive. Okay, they are like quick shortcuts or quick access to other Google applications, and you can add more if you want to right here. At the top here is your search box where you can search out anything that you have saved on your Google Drive. All right. Over here are settings. We'll touch on this later. Okay, this is a help or support. If you have a problem with your Google Drive and want to reach out to the Google support, you can use this question mark symbol here. A click on it will take you to the support page. All right, so let's go over to this. You're lucky because I'll be showing you two different versions, the mobile version and the desktop version. If time permits us, we'll cover others. So for the PC version of Google Drive, we have the first option here, which is new. Just like we have compose on your Gmail. Once you click on new, it asks you, do you want to upload anything? Basically, Google Drive has to do with uploads and downloads. To upload something to your Google Drive simply means you're trying to save that file to your Google Drive. To download it from your Google Drive means you're trying to extract the file from your Google Drive. So things you can save on your Google Drive include Google Documents, Google Sheets, Google Slides, Google Forms. You could even save pictures, videos, your CVs and other documents. It mustn't be just Google documents or Google files. It can be anything, all right? Provided it's a file that has its format supported by Google. It can always be saved on your Google Drive, all right? And the importance of saving important things as your files on your Google Drive, especially your school certificates. For those of you who have graduated, this is a good place to save your school certificates so that you don't fall victim of your certificate getting lost or getting torn or getting burnt. You can always laminate it and save it up to your Google Drive. Anytime you need it, you can always go ahead and download and print it out as you wish. So here, when you click on new, you will be given options. The options here are for you to select and notify what kind of file you want to upload. Are you uploading a folder? Are you uploading just a single file? Okay, or a folder as I mentioned. Are you uploading a Google document? We'll see that in a few minutes. Are you uploading a sheet, a slide, a form, or whatever what is it that you want to upload? Are you uploading drawings, maps, sites, okay, apps, Jamboard, and the rest of them? You can even connect third-party application, all right, to upload on your Google Drive. But mind you, whatever you're uploading automatically occupies space on your Google Drive. So you choose what you're going to upload. If you're uploading a single file, you choose File. Here, let's say File. I want to upload a file, all right? And I upload, just say, just this video. Once I click on it, it automatically begins to upload, okay? But I don't want to upload this file, so I just cancel. But if it's a folder you want to upload, this is what a folder looks like. You can see the difference. File is just a single item. Folder comprises of different items or multiple items in a single folder collected in a particular place. Okay, so uploading such a thing like this is a folder, and any other thing outside it is a file. All right, so we cancel that and then we look at other things. Other things here, this is a file, which is also something we'll be seeing very briefly. We also have sheets. All these are files. All right, explain that and we hope we understand. The next thing we want to look at, this is not really something that we need to bother on. It has to do with your computer synchronizing. So if you want to save files from your computer directly, I don't encourage you do this, especially if you're using the free version, which is 15 gig, because if you try to synchronize everything on your computer, I'm certain that you will exhaust this size storage, and it's not something you want to do. Instead of doing this, you can always get an external hard drive for your computer storage. Now we go over to shared with me. Shared with me simply means files that have been shared with you from other Google users. So if, for instance, I send out a video to the group via your emails, once you open that video from your email, it will automatically be saved into your shared with me category of the Google Drive. So that anytime you head over to your Google Drive, you will find that file in your Google Drive. So shared with me are folders or videos or files generally that you do not originally own or that was not originally uploaded by you. Instead, it was sent to you or shared with you by another Google user. All right. So files you upload yourself will be found in the My Drive section. All right, so everything here are things I uploaded. You can see these are folders. All right, these are files. You can see that this is a song. This is a PDF document. You can see this is a video. This is a Word document from Microsoft Word. This is another video. This is a Google Sheet. You can see that all these are files. All right, so anyone that I uploaded by myself, that is, I clicked on new and I chose to upload a file, it will be found under my drive. But anyone that is sent out to me from another Google user will be found under shared with me. Keep that in mind. We head over to recent. Recent simply means the most recent files that you used. Okay, as soon as you open recent, it shows you the files that you use. As you can see, I actually just opened this freelance masterclass, which is what we see here. I opened it this evening, and that is why it is showing up as the most recent file that I have opened from my Google Drive. So every other thing here is chronological as you open there, it keeps track. So you could consider recent as a form of history for your Google Drive. Starred here simply means files that you have marked as important. All right, I was showing us how to do that. I was showing us how to do that. Once you click on this on any file of your choice, okay, let's say I click on this file, I can head over to this section and then I'll click or search for sorry, excuse me. Yeah, add to start. All right, add to start. Once I click on add to start, it means I am marking this particular file as an important file for myself, so that anytime I want to call it up and I don't remember the name, I can simply click on start and it will show up under my start item. So all these items I have marked as start item, they are items that I consider important to me. Trash, as the name implies, simply means documents or folders that you have deleted and you are no longer in need of. All right, so that said, let's work around other things that may need our attention. Clicking on a file, of course, at the top here are just suggestions, just as the name implies here. These are suggestions by the AI. When I mean AI, I mean artificial intelligence of Google Drive, okay? So it usually suggests to you that these are the most common files that you open very often. So it shows up here in case you need them immediately. You don't need to start searching through them. Google automatically helps you by placing them at the top so that you can always refer to them quickly again. So a click on any file or folder, whether on your My Drive section or on your Shared With Me section, will automatically call up some icons at the top right side here. All right. So any file you click on or any folder you click on will bring out these options right here. And the first option here talks about getting a link, a link to the file. A click on that to bring us to this page. I can, once we come over to this page, we see copy a link here. Copying this link simply means you are copying the link to that particular file or folder that has been selected, and you can share that link accordingly. All right, so when I share a link out, for instance, it means people can have access to that folder whose link I have copied. Let's quickly take an example. Let's copy something else. I copy this music, You're Great, by one of the gospel artists, a Nigerian gospel artist. And I click on this link. It brings out the link for me. All right. Once I click on copy link, I click on done. And then I can decide to go anywhere I please to share the file. So I'll head over to the Google room or the meeting room. I click on this, all right, the chat box, and then I would share the link. The link has been shared. Can anybody click on the link? Can anybody click on the link? I want you to click on the link so that you have a practical feel of what it shows you. Click on the link. Has anyone clicked on the link?
The link just disappeared from my screen.
Yes, I have. I have clicked on it.
All right, Grace, when you clicked on it, what is the link telling you?
It asked me to open with Google Drive.
And when you clicked on that, what does it say after then? Have you tried opening with Google Drive? Do you have Google Drive on your phone?
I'm on it. I'm trying to open it. No, I don't have. I have to install.
Okay, so you will need a Google Drive. You need to download Google Drive on your phone to be able to access this link. All right. Has anybody else clicked on the link? I need a particular. There's an answer I'm looking out for. Has anybody else clicked on the link? I need this class to be interactive. Okay, don't just stay in class doing nothing. All right, you need to follow me so that you understand exactly what we are doing. Has anybody else clicked on the link?
I've clicked on the link.
Okay, Priska, what do you see? What do you see when you click on the link?
I was directed to log in with my Gmail account.
Okay. Did you I know that will take quite some time. Do you have Google Drive on your phone?
Yes.
Okay, so if you have Google Drive on your not Google
I have
Meet.
the app, but I don't use it.
Okay.
I have the app.
All right, no problem. So this is your first assignment for this session. Everybody download Google Drive on your phone because you will be using it. Okay, you will be using it especially for freelance jobs. You'll be using it to share files amongst yourself. All right. So somebody's asking me to resend the link. I just sent it out again. All right. So what I was trying to explain to us is this. Let's head over to that section. When you share a link down here, you see something here. What does it say? Restricted. All right. When you share a link that has been restricted, it simply means that the person whom you have sent the link to still will not be able to have access to that file until you grant them access. All right. You grant them access. That means without you giving access to the person who you share this link with, the person would not be able to access that file. So how do you grant them access? Once the person clicks on the link, what the person will see, which is what I was trying to see if any of you stumbled on, what you would ordinarily see, even after you open it with your Google Drive, is request access. Request access. So you click on request access and then you send. When you send that request, I will receive the request in my email. Okay, I'll receive the request in my email telling me that so and so is requesting access to this file with this link. So from my end, I can now decide to grant access or to deny access. All right. But if I want it such that anybody that has this link can automatically, by clicking on the link, access the file, I would change this restricted to anyone with the link. Okay, you can see the view has changed. Anyone with the link. What do I mean by this? Once I copy this link now and I send it out again, anybody with the link will be able to access the file. All right. But there is still a layer to this kind of access. There are 3 different layers, if I'm not mistaken, to this access. And these layers are called permissions. Okay. What we mean by permissions is that what level of permission are you giving to the person viewing this file? If I give the person the viewer's permission, it simply means the person can view this file but cannot edit the file and cannot delete the file. In fact, the person cannot do anything to the file other than to just view it. Okay, if it is a music, the person can play it, but the person may not be able to download it. The person will not be able to edit it or do anything to it. Okay, but if I give the person commenter, commenter's permission simply means the person can write out a comment on what they have watched. Okay, so commenter is a higher level permission than viewer. And then the highest level of permission is editor. Editor have the permission to watch whatever it is that you have sent out, the file you have sent out. They can view it, they can edit it, and they can delete it. Okay, so you want to be careful whenever you're sending out any of your file, be it your CV or anything at all, whether you have written a book, for instance, and you want to give out the book to somebody to review, okay, and you don't want the person to edit anything or change anything. You want to be sure that you only set your permission to viewer. Any other permission apart from viewer will give the person the right to comment, all right, or to delete. So we always recommend viewers permission, always, except if you trust the person you're sharing your file with. All right, so that said, once you now click on this link, you click on done, you share out the link, the person have access to the link. All right, that is one way to share out the link. Another way to share out the link, which has a little tweak attached to it, is this second option here. A click on this, still on this same file, mind you, you must have clicked on a file before you can access these icons up here. So a click on the link brings up another style of link sharing, okay? But in this case, you'll be able to enter somebody's email address, okay? So if, for instance, I want to share this link to you, and I don't want to go through the hassle of posting into the group so that people will begin to click on the link when I don't want them to have access to it, all I need to do is just collect your email address, head over to the second option, open it, and then I put in your email address here. You can see different email addresses popping out. All right. But if yours is not here, I can always type it out by myself. As soon as I type the email address out, I can drop a note for you what I want you to do with the file. Once I do that, you can see the file is already attached to this. And then I click on send. I also want to be sure that I check out the permission level that I'm giving you. You can see here the permission level is editor. So I set it back to viewer, except if I intended giving you the editor's permission. Okay, so I click on send and that does the trick for us. So that is how you send out your links or your files to others. okay, for whatever reason there is. The one down here is what we already touched on, okay. So this is like an advanced way of sharing your link. This one covers both this and the email section, all right. So that is that for that. Here we can preview the document. We want to send out a document, and for instance, there are some documents. Good. You can see there are some documents here which I did not give a title, okay, and I need to send it out. I can't just keep guessing so that I don't end up sending out sensitive information. So what I want to do so that I don't send out something I did not intend sending out is to preview, okay. So I click on the file to be sure that that is what I want to send out, and then I click on this. Once you click on preview, I'm not clicking on it, but I'm showing us. Once you click on preview, it will automatically show what is contained in this file, so that you're sure that this is what you want to send out. All right, that is what preview does. And then trash, simply to delete any file that you are no longer in need of. A click on these three dots here will drop down other options for you. Open with whatever file or folder you have clicked on. You can open it with different Google applications, depending on what kind of application it is. In this case, this particular file is a Google form. That is why I am being given the suggestion to open this file with a Google form. Okay, so I can either open with Google form or simply click on preview and the form would open up automatically. I can also decide to locate where this particular file is simply by clicking on file location. So showing the file location will tell me where on my Google Drive is this file present. All right, where is it present on my Google Drive? If it is inside a particular folder, this will show me which folder houses this particular file. Add shortcut to drive simply means if you want to quickly access it, you can add shortcut to your drive. Okay, the shortcut would automatically be added to your home screen that is on your phone. You want to move the file away from where it is to somewhere different. Of course, you'll be asked where do you want to move the file to. All right, so that said, other options we have there, add to start, we already talked on that. You can also rename the file, which is very good for us so that you're sure that you know exactly what is contained in the file. You can view the details of the file and you can also make a copy of the file if you wish to. So these are the basic things that we will be covering under Google Drive. All right. Every other thing are things you can always have a grasp of, provided you understand everything that we have explained right here. Okay, under settings here, there are not much to be said. Under settings, you go to settings, you can see you can play around this at your own time. This is the storage we already talked about. If you want to buy more storage, you can do this. Options for replacing items with shortcut. You can either replace item with shortcut so that it pops out at that three dots, or you decide not to make it available. Okay, so these are just preferential settings for individuals according to your need. All right, according to your need. Notifications talks about what kind of notification do you want to be getting when something drops on your drive. Is it an email notification or anything outside that? Manage apps is basically giving access to your drive, okay, from a third party. In this case, you can see this particular software called Camtasia. That is the software I'm using to record this training. So I have linked the software somehow to my Google Drive so that I can always pull out things from my Google Drive if I want to. All right. Other things I have linked to my Google Drives, you can all see them right here. So these are just preferential settings for individuals based on your need, based on your need. Having said that, this is just a way to, rearrange the view of your Google Drive. You don't like the way it is listed, you can change the view to this format. You can see the way it's arranged now. You can now view it even boldly, and you can still tap on it to see other options that you may have. So that said, let's quickly look at your privilege, I must say, because I usually don't show this mobile version. But I need to do that because a lot of persons have complained that they really do not understand some things about the mobile version. So let's head over to the mobile version of my Google Drive and see what we have there. Okay, so I click on this drive. This is what it looks like on the mobile version. A click on it would open up the Google Drive for the mobile version. Okay, this is the home page, as you can see on the screen. This is the start section, which we already talked about. This is the shared section, and these are your files. Okay, if you want to upload anything on your Google Drive, you want to click on this plus sign, and then it gives you options to either upload or upload a folder, or you want to scan or take a picture to upload directly, or if you have a Google Docs to upload a Google Sheet or a Google Slides. Okay, so you want to click on upload to upload a folder, and then it opens up your phone memory to select what you wish to upload. If it is an image or whatever it is that you want to upload, you can go ahead and upload it. If you don't find what you want to upload there, you can click on this, and then it gives you a drop down so that you can search for the things that you want to upload. In this case, I can click on my files, and then it takes me to my file manager, and then I click on this. It takes me further down to the memory, and then I begin to search for what I want to upload. But that is that by the way. But something I want to call our attention to is the fact that Google Drive on PC can be quite demanding, especially if you don't know your way around it. Ordinarily, when you open this section and you head over to settings, you scroll down and you will notice that at the last settings here, if this is turned on, of which is usually the case, if it is turned on, when you open your own Google Drive on your mobile phone, you will discover that this is automatically turned on. The reason is because Google assumes that you do not intend uploading files to your Google Drive with your mobile data, okay? Because it is assumed that you always use mobile data on your mobile phone. So here, the instruction is transfer files only over Wi-Fi. Uploading and updating of files will pause when Wi-Fi connection isn't available, meaning if you are not connected to a Wi-Fi, in my case, I am connected to a Wi-Fi, you can see the symbol here. If you are not connected to a Wi-Fi and you try to upload, I'm giving you this assignment, try it out so that you can know and see how it feels. If this is turned on and you try to upload a file, the upload will fail. Let's take a practical instance and see what that means. Let's say I'm trying, oh, I'm already on a Wi-Fi, so it will definitely go through. I'm canceling it, sorry. I'm canceling this. So because I'm already on a Wi-Fi, it will go through. But if I am not on a Wi-Fi, I'm just on a mobile data, okay, this upload will fail. All you will see is that it keeps rotating and rotating and rotating, and it looks as if your network is not functioning. The reason is this. I tell people and students to head over to the settings, click on settings icon, scroll down and turn this off. If you really want to upload your file, you can see the one in here. Transferring files over mobile data may incur additional charges depending on your mobile data plan. You can see that. So if you really want to upload via your phone, this has to be turned off. If it stays on, you would not be able to upload files on the Google Drive found on your phone. So take note of this as you practice along. Let's head back to our class. Sure, this is recording, and then we get back to class. So that is that for Google Drive on PC and on mobile. So the next thing I want to quickly cover up now is Google Documents. Of course, to go there, we Open our Google again, head over to the 9 dots. I'm doing this over and over and over again so that you become acquainted with it. All right, become acquainted with it, familiarize yourself with it. So we head over to Google Docs and open the Google Docs. Google Docs, like I used to explain to my students, can be likened to Microsoft Word or Microsoft Word. That's the likeness of Google Document. If you have ever typed on your PC before, you must have come across Microsoft Word, either 2007, 2013, 2016, or 2021, as the case may be. Okay, so if you have ever typed on Microsoft Word, then you should be able to navigate Google Docs. All right, so Google Docs and Microsoft Word almost works the same way, but I usually prefer Google Docs. And Google Docs can be used for a variety of things. If you're a writer, you can actually use Google Docs to write your book. If you are a proofreader, you can request clients to send you their document via Google Docs and you'll be able to read it. Okay. If you are a journalist, you can always use Google Docs to write down your journals, all right? To pen down your journals. Or if you are somebody that likes walking around with books, you can always use Google Docs or Google Keeps, all right? The reason of saying that we can use this, or the reason why Google Docs is preferable to other manual forms of writing, is because unlike other forms of manual documentation, if you misplace your manual book, okay, your book, that is your physical book, you might misplace information there. But anything stored on Google Docs, even if you misplace your phone, you can always log into your Gmail, open your Google Docs, and you will find your file right in your Google Docs. So wherever you are, any edit you make, of course, it is also available on mobile version. So any edit you make on your Google Doc, whether via your phone or via your PC, would stay the same. Even if you edit on your phone and then you check on your PC, you will find the edited version. That said, the interface of Google Docs, once open, will look like what you see on my screen. The first part here are templates, excluding this blank template here. Okay, every other thing here talks about different templates that are commonly used by Google Docs users. We have resume, that is a likeness of CV. Okay, so if what you want to do is to write a CV or a resume with Google Docs and you don't know how to do that, just click on resume and it would open up a sample which you can edit. Okay, just plug in your own details and you have your sample or resume ready. Or if what you want to write is a letter and you don't know how to write a formal letter or whatever kind of letter you want to write, just use any template that has been provided for you and then edit what you find there. You will have your letter all ready to be sent. Okay. Other templates that you can find here are seen at this section. A click on this will open up other forms of templates. You can see different kinds of resumes. You can see different types of letters, business letter, informal letter. These are formal letters, okay, with different letterheads. You can see these are personals, all right, recipe, pet resume. These are for work, project proposals. You can see meeting notes. You see newsletters, brochure, anything at all you're looking for. Okay, you can always go through the template. However, we will not be using the template in this training. We would begin from scratch. So to do that, click on blank and then it opens up a blank interface for you to begin writing what you want to write by yourself. One good thing I love about Google Documents is that it helps you to call out or categorize your writing into sectionable characters or sectionable paragraphs, such that if you're writing, it would automatically show paragraphs here that you can always call up on, so that if your writing is so long and your article is so lengthy and you're searching for anything, instead of having to read line by line, you can always use the paragraph section on this left plane to check up the possible position of what you are searching for. We'll see that in few minutes to come. So everything here are just to aid your writing, all right? These are used for making bold letters. These are italics. These are underlines. This is simply text colors. These are highlight colors. These are to write out links. Okay. So anything you don't know or you're not familiar with, you can always hover your mouse around it. This is simply to change the font style of your writing. And this is the font size. Okay. So everything that you need and you're not sure of, just hover your mouse over it and you would find what function that symbol stands for. All right. So at your free time, try play around this and you would be good to go. Other things I want to show you is that, of course, you need to name your document, and to do that, you need to head over here, click on it once, and then you can give that document a name. Anything you type on your Google document, as long as you are connected to the internet, would automatically be saved. So whether your battery went flat or your laptop died instantly, probably for failure in battery or whatever reason it is, as long as you are connected while typing, your work is automatically saved. So there's nothing to worry about. Like we saw in Google Drive, you can also share your documents. All right. You can share your documents, your Google documents. How do you do that? You could just click on share and then it will give you the option to give the document. If the document has been named, because I didn't name it here, if it has not been named, it will prompt you to name the document so that you can save it. All right. Let's use a practical document for this example. I've shown you just what you need to know about Google Docs. Let's use a practical document which I have as an example so that we can see all that I was talking about. So these are my paid courses. I wouldn't want to open that. Let's open something that would be beneficial to us. All right, so these are my compiled courses for freelancing. Okay, these are compiled courses, even though it doesn't have what I wish to show us here. Let's go back. I want to bring out something. Okay, I think it's coming out here now. I've pressed the back option. Okay, press the back option. Let's bring out something else. Let's bring out something else so that we can understand exactly what I was trying to explain to us. Okay, just a moment. All right, let's bring out something like this. This will work perfectly. Okay, so here we go. You can see, for those of you who have been learning on LinkedIn, this is something I actually did when I was learning on LinkedIn, because I know I would always refer back to it. I copied their transcript and then I saved it on my Google Documents. Okay, so everything you're seeing here was gotten from LinkedIn. The name of the course is Sales Negotiation. So I saved the name, title of the document as Sales Negotiation, and then I copied and pasted the document. And you can see, just as I copied it, it automatically gives an outline of what is contained in this very course, so that if I want to, I can jump from paragraph to paragraph without having to read everything. Okay, I can decide that, okay, I'm looking for something around the 4 reasons to deal with whatever 4 reasons deals fall apart. Okay, you can see a click on it will automatically take me to the section where that is present without having to scroll my mouse over and over and over till I get to where I want. So this is one advantage of using Google Documents. And then to share, we can always click on the share option here. You can see it is no longer prompting me to save the name because it has already been named. So it's asking me now, or preparing the document to be shared. Just give us a minute so that this comes up and then we can continue. I hope we are still together though. Are we still together, class? Are we still together? Are we still together? Hello.
Yes, sir.
All right. So just like we saw with the Google Drive, you can also share your Google document just the same way. There's not much difference. All right. The same way, in this case, you can put in the person's email which you wish to share the document with, and be sure of the permission level that you're giving out to them so that they don't delete or edit your work without your permission. All right. So this is how you share your Google document. You can also present this very document. If you are in a meeting and you want to present, you can click on this and choose how you want to present this document to a meeting. All right. That is gradually coming up, and it will show us exactly the options available to present the document to a meeting. I'm hoping my network is not lagging behind now because it's beginning to get slower. Anyway, that's on the side. If you have given somebody the commenter's permission, okay, meaning that the person can make a comment on your Google documents, that person will be able to do that here, okay? So this simply means to drop a comment about this document. So if the person has been given the permission to comment, the person can drop a comment by clicking on this link and it will open up the comment section. So if it is a book that you have written and you give it out to a friend to help you proofread and correct, when the friend reads and finds errors, he will just need to come over to this comment section and drop you a comment, okay, highlighting where the error was found and what you need to change or consider changing, right? So that's basically everything basics as far as Google Documents is concerned. Let's head over to Google Sheets and see what we have waiting for us. So here we are on Google application. We scroll down and we would find Google Sheets. So Google Sheets, I like to explain, can be likened to what we refer to as Microsoft Excel. If you are familiar with spreadsheets like Microsoft Excel, then Google Sheets should not be much of a hassle for you. All right. So Google Sheet is basically a spreadsheet that is used for multiple purposes. It could be used for bookkeeping, it could be used for data entry, and whatever it is that pleases you. Like we saw in the Google document setup, we could see templates made available for us here. So on the Google Sheets, you can find to-do lists as a template, annual budget, monthly budget, Google Finance. A click on other templates will take us further down, annual calendar. So you could use these to create any of these things that you can find here. You could even use it to plan your travel. You can plan a wedding. You can plan a roster. All right. Pros and cons. You can draft advantages and disadvantages with your Google Sheet, and so many other things you can do with your Google Sheet. Analytics. Okay. So at your own free time, just play around the template and see what you can achieve with the Google Sheet. But for us now, we will be opening a blank Google Sheet to see exactly how it looks like. So this is a blank Google Sheet, just like an average spreadsheet. Okay. Every other thing at the top here helps you to write or efficiently make use of your Google Sheet. You can see all these. This is to undo, and this is to redo, this is to print, this is to paint, this is to zoom in and out, okay? So anything that you desire to do on your Google Sheet, you could use this to put in some data entries, all right? But Google Sheet, I must confess, is a course on its own. And I would recommend those of you into accounting or those of you who hope to be data assistants and data entry personnel to consider taking a course on Google Sheet. But what I'll just do for us is if I remember, I'm hoping that some of you will remind me, I'll send in some link or a link to a course on on LinkedIn that you could take that would explain everything in detail. That is how to use it, including how to use the formulas and the rest of these things that you're seeing here, because everything here is not for child's play. It is basically to be used, all right? Most of the things here are formulas that are used to manipulate calculations on spreadsheet, all right? But this class or this training does not cover that, so that we don't take this course far too long than it should be. But for recommendation, I recommend you head over to LinkedIn and consider watching videos. You can also head over to YouTube. There are lots and lots of videos to watch that can teach you everything you need to know about how to use Google Sheet. So that said, this is basically what a Google Sheet looks like. Of course, like we saw in Google Document, you can share your Google Sheet document, you can present it, and you can comment on it if you have been given the commenters permission. However, you also need to name your file so that it bears a particular name. And remember, like I told us when we dealt with Google Drive, anything you save on your Google Sheet as a file is automatically saved to your Google Drive. The same thing applies to your Google document. Any Google documents you save is automatically saved to your Google Drive. So let's open a sample of Google Sheet and see what we have. You can see this is a document I pulled out from LinkedIn during the Russian-Ukrainian war for students who are running away from the Ukrainian war and seeking to study outside Ukraine. So I got this document, all right, and then you can see the way this is one way to use Google Sheets. It is not just for mathematical calculations alone. You can also use it to make a list of something and draft out something helpful. You can see how it looks like. So I can decide to share this document if I want to, so that anybody with a link can also have access to it. All right. I can also change this from view only. You can see this is a very good example because this document is not mine. It was not created by me. This person has made it such that anybody with this link can only view it. You can see that it can only be viewed. You cannot edit. If I click on this, I can't make any edit on it. So to make an edit or to seek another level of permission, I will need to click on request edit access. So once I click on this, the owner, the original owner, even though I don't know who it is, I just found it on LinkedIn and I downloaded it. Okay. So if I click on edit, the original owner will get a message in their email telling them that I am trying to gain an editor's access to this document. So if the person grants me access, I'll be able to make an edit. If it doesn't or it declines my access, I would continue as a viewer. I'll continue as a viewer. So that is how we could use Google Sheets. All right. So that said, let's head over to another type of Google application, which is Google Slides. The likeness of Google Slides would be what we know as PowerPoint, Microsoft PowerPoint. Google Slides, as the name implies, is a set or collection of slides that can be used for presentation, for trainings, for seminars, webinars, or what have you. A typical example of slides in use is what you're seeing right here on my screen. This was produced with Google Slides. All right. So on Google Slides, as usual, like we saw with the previous document, we have the blank slides and we have templates. All right. So a typical example, your big idea, photo album, wedding, portfolios. All right. You also have other templates that you can always check out: recipe book, portfolio, lookbook, party invite. Okay, you have a party and you don't know how to design, just head over here, click on it. It will pop out a typical template for party invite. All you need to do is just edit the date, and if there is a name, edit the name, and your invite is set up. Print it out and turn it to a card, and you're set. So if you don't want to spend too much money giving designers work to do for you, you can always head over. You can see these things are always on the internet. It's all about knowing where to find them. This is a yearbook recipe showcase. You can see them. Case studies for education. You have lesson plans for those of us that are teachers. You have book reports. You have field trip, flashcards. You can see student certificates. I can decide that after this training, I want to give you all a certificate. You'll be so happy, but you wouldn't know that I just came over here, edited the name, put in my name, put in your name, sign on it, I print it out and I send it to you, or I practically just send it to your email box, and then you have a certificate of training completed. So there are so many things you can actually do online, but we are just not exploring there. So this is this for templates. All right, so we can head back and see these are some of the Google Slides that I have both done for myself and some I downloaded from the internet. Let's check out what a plain slide looks like. This is a typical example of what a plain slide looks like. All right, at the left hand side here is an individual section of what you have as a plane. So each part here is a slide on its own, and then at the middle part here we see what is contained inside this slide. All right, so if you have multiple slides, you'll be able to navigate through all the slides, and for each slide you click, you'll be able to see what is written inside. Okay, so how you design your slide is typically left to you to decide, or for you to decide. All right, however, if you are the kind of person who really does not have any knowledge of graphics or designs, kudos to Google. They have made available for you templates on this side for you to use. All you need to do is just click on any one that may attract your attention. And as soon as you click on it, it would automatically be used as your chosen template. So any slides you create on this section will take the design that you have chosen. And that was exactly what I did with the slides I'm using presently. You can see this is the template I chose, and that is why you can see it like this. This is a template, you can see that. So as soon as I clicked on this, it automatically entered, fixed itself into this slide, and then all I needed to do was just to make edits. I had to start writing everything that I wanted to write, and that was what produced what you can see here. All right, every design will stay the same. All designs, as far as the slides that you have chosen is concerned, all the design you have chosen, provided you chose this particular design, it will stay the same throughout your slides. So as usual, these are things or tools that can help you beautify or edit or make changes to your slides. Okay, so at your own free time as well, as I said, this is not really a class or a training to cover all these, because all these are skills on their own. There are people who are paid just to make slides for businesses. Okay, there are people who are teachers, there are businessmen, CEOs who are trainers, who teach other staff of their companies, okay? But they don't have the time to be creating slides for themselves. All they need to do is just give you the write-up. You are the one to come over here and do the edit, present the slides, make it look very presentable, fix in one or two designs, and then you're up and good, get paid for that. So this is a skill of its own, and it's not something we can cover here in details. All right, so at your own time, just play around the internet. YouTube is there, LinkedIn, HubSpot, all those platforms are there that you can search up this tutorial and just learn and play around it to get perfect. But the basics are what I'm just showing us here. So here we can always comment as usual. Here you can present. And for slides, this is where it differs. For slides, you can actually make a slideshow of your slides. All right. And to make a slideshow simply means making this central option visible or making it a full screen. And that is what you can see here. Once I click on slideshow here, it will automatically take it to the full screen, just as we saw at the beginning of the tutorial. Okay, to exit that, hover your mouse at the top here and cancel. Okay, it returns back to the slide mode. All right, so we can continue with that. We can share it if you want to. All right, but in this case it is my personal slides, I don't share. So that is how we can actually create a slide from scratch. All right, every other thing here are things you can play around. All right, we want to spend much time on this, so we head back to other Google applications. We are done with slides. All right, we're done with slides. We head back to other Google application, and then we check out the last option, I suppose, which is Google Forms. Google Forms. Google Forms is where we may need to dwell a lot on. And the reason why I say this is because a couple of clients that I have had, one of the tests that was given to me personally was to create a Google Forms from scratch. The client would give me what and what would present in the Google form, and I will have to put them in according to the demands of the client. All right. A typical example, I'm a digital marketer as well. I run Facebook adverts and Instagram adverts and the rest of them. So one of the clients I managed the he's a NGO page. He's a politician in Nigeria. A lot of you may know him, PDP particularly. He runs a particular NGO, and I managed his social media handle. He was to run an event sometime last year, November, and one of the events needed me to create a form that interested participants, which included school children and their teachers and their parents. Okay, we needed to know those who were coming for the program. They needed to give us information. They needed to give us the information about their arrival, whether or not they will need an accommodation, and all that and all that. So I had to create this form for them. You can see it, event registration. So what I will just do is I will show you how to create a form from scratch. This is where I will dwell a lot on. I'll show you how to create a form from scratch, and then at your own free time, in fact, I'll give you a task at the end. I want you to create a form at the end of this, and then share the form to the group that you belong, so that people can fill the form, and then you can have a feedback of what the form looks like. Lest I forget, Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets all have a mobile version, all right? But Google Forms does not have a direct mobile version, all right? The mobile version of Google Forms is indirectly gotten. So if you are using an Android device, you can head over to Play Store and download an app rather, called Survey Hat. All right. Under Survey Hat, when you open it, you will see something called Forms. All right. When you click on the forms, you will then come to this particular, or you get to this particular page that we are. Okay. So to begin, you can see there are templates here already: event registration, contact information, RSVP, party invite, and so many other templates, contact information, find a time, all right, t-shirt sign up, okay, order form, job application, time of request, customer feedback, and so on and so forth. Okay, you can even use it as a questionnaire. If you are a researcher, you can use it as a questionnaire. So let's begin from scratch. This is what Google Forms looks like. Before we head over into making the form from scratch, let's quickly, you can see I've toggled this. I'll cancel, I'll delete it so that I can start from the scratch. But then you need to give your form a name. In this case, I'll name this form Freelance Masterclass 4. Okay, and as soon as I name this form, I don't need to type enter. Once I click my mouse or my cursor anywhere around the screen, this will automatically change. You see that? And that is the name of the form. Okay, Freelance Masterclass 4. Right at the top here, anything as usual, if you type, as long as you're connected to the internet, is automatically saved for you. At the top here, we have questions. Questions simply means what are the questions? This is the back end, mind you. When I say back end, I mean this is like the engine room where you put the forms to shape. Okay, so nobody is seeing this page except you, the person who have actually set out to create a form or to create a questionnaire. So the question section is for you, the one creating the form. This is where you create the question that you want people to answer. The responses here would be seen by you as well when people have started answering the questions. Anybody that answered your question, you'll find their answers under responses. Settings are like what you want or how you want to collect this information. Okay, do you want to make this a quiz? Do you want to manage how responses are collected and protected? Okay, you want to manage how the form and responses are presented. Okay, the settings apply to this form and new forms. Settings apply to all new questions. All right, so these are basically for individuals to set up how they desire their forms to look like. At the top here, we have themes. By themes, it simply talks about customizing the feel of your form. Okay, changing the colors, adding some images at the as a header, and any other thing. Okay, we can do that right here. You can choose to add an image to this form that I'm creating. So let's take, for instance, let's say I want to add, since this is an educational video training, I would prefer to stay with work and school. So I can just hover around to see if I have anything of the likeness of computer. And of course, I can as well upload a file from my phone or my PC if I have a suitable file. Okay, to do that, just click on upload and it takes you over to your PC where you can actually download a file from the internet. However, whatever file you are downloading, you want to make sure that the file has this particular ratio, size ratio. Okay, because if you go and plug in anything of square format, it will not fit into this category. Okay, so you want to make sure that your file or your picture or whatever you're using is in this particular ratio. Photos as well helps you to upload files as well. Okay, these are like files that I've uploaded in the past, but as you can see, they do not exactly match the pattern of this. So you need to create, if you intend using your own particular picture, you need to create a picture with the particular dimension as you can see here. So for this section or for this tutorial, I'll just use this. Let's use this. Okay, I choose this and then I click on insert. So this automatically inserts the picture and you will see that the picture color or the color of the background has changed. Why? Because of the choice of picture I use. Head over to question and you will see, the picture is now showing at the top side of my form, and you can see the color has changed, the background color, to match the header's picture. Okay, and as soon as that happens, you will see the theme color will change automatically from purple or light purple as it was, or I'm sure, is this light purple? Yeah, uh, which it was before, to this particular color. And that also applies to this. Okay, so you can change the theme color and you can change the background color to your taste. You can also change the font style. This is where you see the effect of the font style. Once I change the font style, you will see it changing into different styles. This is the decorative, this is formal, and this is playful. Okay, so for this section, I'll leave it at formal. Okay, because it is going out to different calibers of people who are either professionals or not. So that is that for these themes. The next one is preview. When you must have finished your form, creating the form, you can preview the form to see how it looks like when people open the form. So you want to make sure that you do that so that you do not send out a form that people. After that, we cover up undo and redo. Make a mistake, you want to go back, you can undo. If you feel it's not a mistake, you move forward to redo. And of course, this is where you get to send the form. All right, we'll come to this at the end of the form creation. So let's create a form now. We have given it a name, which is a title, and here we can write any description of our choice. Okay, a sample, let's say a sample form. All right, and that does it. Okay, we have given it a description. Now you would begin to add questions, and to add questions there are two ways to do that. I have already deleted it, okay, but unfortunately I should have called that out, but I deleted it because it went ahead of the class. So the other way to do this is to click on add question. As soon as you add question, exactly this was what we saw at the beginning of the class, which I deleted. So as soon as you add question, this particular form, Google form, has an AI attached to it. What I mean by AI, I mean it understands how people have used it over time. And because of that, it can help you even when you are creating the form. How does that happen? Follow me closely. First, this is where you type out your question. Whatever question you type out, you type it here, and then you would provide people or users of the form the mode in which you want them to answer that question. Say, for instance, the first question I want them to answer is, what is their name? As soon as I type name, you see this has changed to short answer automatically. Why? Because the computer or Google Forms understands that anytime people are asked for their name, they will need to type that name out. And for that reason, the computer understands that the kind of answer that will be required or the kind of option that should be given as an answer to this question should be in this format so that people can type out what they want. However, this answer is in the short answer format, but there are some of us whose name is so long, longer than Methusedek or Melchizedek's name. So if you find people like that, or you anticipate people as that to answer your form, or people as such to answer your form, you want to provide them with the long form of answer, which is called paragraph, so that they can type their name as long as it is. It doesn't hinder them. Okay, some of them would like to put all the titles they have bagged all through their lifetime: doctor, professor, evangelist, and so on and so forth. So give them the benefit of that and give them the long form to answer that. Okay, now, having said this, let's quickly revisit other forms of answers. We can create another question either by clicking on add question again, or if the question we want to create is in the likeness of this, that is, if the question we want to create is similar to what we already have here, instead of going to start creating a fresh question, all we should do is duplicate. Come over to duplicate, and as soon as you duplicate this question, it would duplicate the entire question we have here, including the answer that we have provided, and then we have that. We can see the exact thing we have here has been duplicated here. Name for name, long answer text for long answer text. Okay, every other thing remains the same. But if this is not what we want, we can rename it, or if we feel we made a mistake, we can go ahead and delete to return back to the previous question. All right. Another thing I want to draw attention to is that in forms like this, there are some questions that are usually compulsory, which you really want people to answer. Okay, and there are some that are optional. For questions that are compulsory, people can still skip them, except you make it such that they cannot proceed until they have answered that question. I'm sure some of you have stumbled on such forms online. You type and type and type, and when you click on submit, it takes you back and shows you some red line telling you that you have not answered this, and you see some asterisks on that line. You can actually do that with this kind of form. All you need to do is head over to required and toggle this on. Once you toggle it on, it makes this question a compulsory question to be answered, so that if a user haven't answered all the questions and refuses to answer this particular question, he or she will not be able to move to the next page if there is a next page, and he or she will not be able to submit the form without answering this question. So this is what I want to draw attention to. Other things I want to quickly touch on is import questions. If there are questions you already have created from another Google form, you can simply import them into this one and just make an edit. This is simply to add title and description, okay, to your forms, which we already did. This is to add image. All right, we'll see that briefly. This is to add videos. If you want to add videos to your form, you want to add image to your form, you can play around all these at your own time. And this is to add a different section altogether to your form. Okay, so if you want your form to have different section, part A, part B, part C, and so on, you can always do that with this. But we will not be covering all this, but I will do all my possible best to see that you understand the basics and you can always create a form for yourself. So let's move over to the next thing. We'll create another question. You can see this has changed to um, the original, which is multiple choice. But anything I type here will now determine what kind of answer this should give. So let's say I want to collect your WhatsApp numbers. You can see WhatsApp numbers, and instantly WhatsApp numbers beginning with +234. You see that it automatically changed my answer to short answer. Why? Because people will have to type out their WhatsApp number. It is not an objective question where you choose yes or no. So automatically the machine gives me the kind of answer type that is suitable to this question. All right. So I haven't answered that. I can still make it compulsory. All right. And then I can go ahead again. And if I don't want to come over here, I can duplicate this and just simply change the name. What other question do I want to answer? I'll ask them. How has this training been? How has this training been for you? Okay, you can see that. How has this training been for you? You can see it has not given, or it has left the answer to be in a multiple choice format. Okay, because this kind of question can either be written out or it can be made to be multiple choice. Okay, so if I want it to be a multiple choice question, I can say good. All right, once I say good, I can head over to this second, just click on add option and write fair. I can add option again and write bad. Okay, and then I can, these are the basic three answers that one can provide as far as this question is concerned. But if I feel that let me give people the option to give me their answers that may not be in this section, I'll add other. So add other simply means provide your own answer if they do not fall into this category. All right, provide your own answer. That said, I can also decide to toggle this off. okay, to make it optional. People can decide whether or not to answer it. All right. I can go ahead and ask another question and say, would you recommend? I want to show you something on this. Would you recommend this training? You can see what I was trying to bring out. This training. Would you recommend this training? I hope I'm writing the proper thing to others. Okay, so you can see immediately the computer can sense the format of the question and see what it does here. It has provided possible answers, meaning this kind of question will go with a yes or no answer. Okay, so instead of coming here to start writing yes, what I can just do is tap on yes, and as soon as I type on yes, it takes out the yes and adds no or maybe. I can still tap on no, you see that, and I'm left with maybe, and I can tap on maybe. And if I feel I still want to give people the choice to give me their own answer, I can click on add other so that people can tell me if there is any other answer that is outside this that they want to supply to me. Do you understand that? Now, one more thing I just want to attach is the last question which I'll be asking you is, um, let's say upload a picture of yourself. All right, upload a picture of yourself. Okay, this is just a sample question. Okay, so I can decide to make this optional. All right, upload a picture of yourself because in this case a picture is required. The computer will not give you any answer in this case, but you will be expected to make an answer for yourself. How do you make an answer for yourself? We come over here and we have not done something like this. Okay, let's see. Okay, we'll come back to this soon. Upload a picture of yourself. We have to provide, because for you to ask people to upload a picture, you need to provide a means to collect those pictures. And that is why in the drop down here, you want to come over to this section and choose file upload. See that? File upload, and read this carefully. Let respondent upload files to Drive, meaning files will be uploaded to the form owner's Google Drive. That is, any file, any picture that will be uploaded into your Google Drive as the owner of this form. Respondents, that is users of the form, will be required to sign into Google when file upload questions are added to a form. Make sure to only share this form with people you trust, because by collecting images or whatever it is you are collecting, you might end up collecting virus if you don't take your time. So you want to be sure that you are collecting the right thing that you desire to collect. So if this is what you want, you click on continue, and then it brings up that question you have asked them. Upload a picture of yourself. People can now upload. We will see how this looks like at the other end. Okay. Now there are other things I want you to pay attention to. You can see here it shows that they have to upload a picture. Now you need to allow only specific file types. You have asked people to upload pictures. You will still see people sending you their CV as if you are a CEO asking them to apply for a job. They will ignore the picture you have asked them to upload and upload other things outside picture. You know, people can be very funny. So you want to be specific on what you want them to upload, not just by telling them to upload a picture, but by restricting the kind of file that they are able to send. How do you do that? You toggle this on and you see a list. Since you want a picture, you don't want a document. So it says allow only specific file types. You don't want a document, leave it off. You don't want a spreadsheet, leave it off. You don't want a PDF, you don't need a video, you don't need a presentation, you don't need a drawing, you don't even need an audio. The only thing you need is their picture, which is the image. So When anybody who stumbles on this form on getting to this part clicks on upload and goes to upload a document, the computer will reject it. If you upload a spreadsheet, it will be rejected. If you upload a video or an audio, it will be rejected. The only thing that will be accepted will be an image. But the difference is that the computer will not be able to tell whether it is the image of the person or the image of a clown or an avatar. Okay, that is where the computer may not be so perfect. But at least to a great extent, the computer has helped you streamline what is expected. Okay, at least if the person uploads any of these things and it has been rejected, the person will be forced to go back and read the question again to understand exactly what is required of them. So that is not all. You also want to be sure to restrict the maximum number of files that is needed, because if you leave it open, some persons will upload and push files of over 10,000 gig to you, and of course you use your data to download everything. Okay, and they can even come and answer the form questions multiple times. So what is the number or maximum number of files you want? How many picture of the person do you need? If it is one, leave it at one. If you need more, you can choose more. Okay, but mind you, anything you're collecting is saving on your drive, and then as your drive is being used, the file size is, the storage size is reducing. So you need to be sure of what you're collecting. What should be the maximum file size? Is it 10 MB? Is it 100? Is it 1 gig? Is it 10 gig? Or is it even 1 MB? Okay, but average picture size should be between 10 MB to 100 MB. Okay, or even 1 MB to 10 MB. Picture size are not so big. In fact, some are even in kilobyte. So I can decide to reduce this to kilobyte, but because of high definition pictures, you might want to leave it at 10 MB. Okay, and this happens. You can see this form can accept up to 1 gigabyte of files. All right, you can also change it here if you feel this form is going out to a lot of people, because if it's going out to say 1,000 people and the entire people are sending in their picture, once the picture or the drive notices that the picture have exhausted 1 gigabyte space, it will automatically stop collecting pictures. Okay, so if you think more pictures will be sent in that are greater than 1 gig, you want to change this. But if you are doing that, remember that it is your file storage or your storage size that you are consuming. All right, so that is that for file uploads. Now let's look at these other options: checkboxes and drop down. Checkboxes and drop down are quite similar to multiple choice kind of answers, but they are also different in a way. For multiple choice answers, which we have seen here, we can see that their answers are provided in circular format, such that whoever is answering this question, how has this training been for you, will only need to just tick one answer. In this case, if the person ticks good, they cannot tick fair and they cannot tick bad. If the person ticks bad, they cannot tick fair and they cannot tick good. So you understand how that works for multiple choice. But if these answers are to be in check boxes, it will change from circle to square. You can see that. So in this case, the person can still tick good and they can go ahead to tick fair. Okay, so you should understand how these kind of answers are used. The same thing with drop down. In fact, what method we are using here to call down these options is a drop down. Drop down simply means you click on a particular section and the answers drop down for you, just like you can see here. So this is what drop down means. So if I don't want to put my answer in this kind of format and I want to put it in the drop down format, this is what I will get. It will come in this format such that the person will click on this format, it will click on this, and what the person will be seeing is good, fair, bad, others, something like that. Okay, depending on what you have supplied it with. All right, so that is basically how that works. And if there is any answer you do not want to use anymore, you can cancel it out. Okay, you can remove this. For instance, I want to remove this so that they are just limited to these 3 answers. All right, and I'm done with that. So this is how you can set up the questions for your forms. All right, now the next thing we want to look at is how do we share this form. To share this form, you need to notice one thing, or note one thing. If you must share this form, you click on send, and you would be asked, do you want to collect the email addresses of the people answering this question? If you want to collect their email address, you click on collect emails. As soon as you click on this, it will automatically collect people's emails. Anybody filling the form, this form will automatically collect their emails, okay, without you asking for it. It will help you collect it. Now, some people make the mistake of still going ahead to create a special question asking people to type their email address. I don't recommend that if you will be using this option, okay? But if you'll not be using this option, then you can go ahead and ask for their email address manually. Now, the various ways to share this form. You can either share this form by sending out the link via email. If you want to send out the form via email, you put in the interested person's email address into the to section. You can see the name of the form has already been filled. The message of the form, I have invited you to fill out this form. Include form in email. Already the form will be included in an email, so you don't need to the form rather would be included in an email if, say, you have chosen the person's email address. The form will be included in the email, okay, without even ticking on it. You see that? And then I can go ahead and send out the form. If I don't want to send the form to the person's email, I just want to copy the link from here, okay? This is the link. You can see how long the link is. The link is very long. I can copy the link and head over. Once I click on copy, the link is copied to clipboard, and then I go over to wherever I want to share it, and then I paste it there, and the link is shared. But I don't usually like sending out long links like this because it scares people sometimes. What you want to do is you want to click on this shorten URL to make the link a little bit shorter. You can see it has been shortened, and then you can click on copy, and then you can head over to anywhere. Say in this case, I can put in my link here, and then I send it to the group. Okay, I hope we are still together. Am I communicating? You can see the number have reduced. Are there still people here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can hear
All
you.
right, thank you. So we head back to the form. The last option, or the last way to share this form, is by clicking on this link here. If you want to embed the form in a website, probably you have a website and you don't know how to create a form on your website, you can come to Google Forms, create the form, and then copy the embedded link. But there's a downside to this. If you must attach this form to your website, then you would not be allowed to collect people's information in terms of their images or in terms of videos or pictures or something like that. That's why if I click on this now, you see what it says here. This form cannot be embedded because it makes use of file upload questions. So for you to be able to embed this form in your website, you need to take out that question asking people to upload a file. Okay, so that is the only disadvantage to this. If you must embed this form to your website, which is actually what I did for that client I spoke about when I attached these Google Forms which I created for him. I attached it to his website, but I didn't request for any kind of uploads. Okay, so if you must upload this to your website, make sure you are not asking them to upload anything. Now, you can also send this form out to your Facebook or to your Twitter page if you want your friends over there on social media to answer the questions for you. So this is very good if it is a questionnaire that you're trying to send out to people to help you answer. Probably you're writing a project or you're making a research. This is how to go about this. So this is basically what you can do as far as this form is concerned. Now let's go ahead and preview this form. To preview the form, click on preview and see how this form looks like. This is exactly how the form will look like when people see it online. You can see this is required. You need to log in your email. Why is this required? Because I made it compulsory here. See that I made it compulsory to collect their emails, and that is why this is required here. So it will automatically collect people's emails on your behalf. You can see emails rather. What am I saying? Sorry, excuse me. This email, this required here is for this. So it will automatically collect people's emails for you by asking them to type out the email, all right, without you having to type. You remember we didn't type this section. So it's automatically typed out for us because we requested that emails should be collected. That was why I said that you should not go ahead if you would use that method, if you would use this method to collect emails, don't go on to create this kind of question again because it will make it appear twice in your form. All right. So this is the name, which is compulsory. The WhatsApp number beginning with +234, compulsory. You can see how has this training been for you. You can see this is check boxes. I can say good, I can say fair, I can say bad. Of course, only an illiterate will answer this kind of question like this. Okay, but I'm just showing you what this means because there are some questions that you can ask people to as many answers as possible. So this is kind of answer you want to use or the answer type you want to use. But when it comes to this kind of question, would you recommend this training to others? I can say no. And once I say no, I cannot come here and say maybe again. You can see for this kind of checkboxes, I can only use one answer at a time. And if I say others, I will be asked to put in my reason. Okay, so that is basically that. And then when it comes to file upload, you can see the way it is. Upload a picture of yourself. If I come down to add file, it will take me to my computer where I can now upload a file. I can click on a file. All right, I can say let me add. You can see if I open my file here, I will see a video in this section, but because what has been mandated in this form to be collected is an image. That is why the original files in this form, which are videos, are not being shown. You can see it is showing empty. Meanwhile, there are some files inside it. But if I open up something that contains pictures, for instance, it will automatically bring out pictures for me. Let's say I don't think I have pictures here at the moment. Okay, let's see this. Okay, you can see screenshots. So if I'm uploading this, it will automatically upload to my drive, but I don't want to do that. So once you click on it, you click on open, it will automatically upload that screenshot to my drive. And that is how people, and then once it's uploaded, you will see this upload will come up, and then click on upload, it takes down that record. So this is how people will see your form. Okay, this is how people will see your form. And when they are done answering all that needs to be answered, they click on submit. Okay, now sometimes you're creating this kind of forms and you want to redirect people from this section so that when they say, for instance, you want your customers to fill this form, and after filling this form, you want it to be that as soon as they click on submit, it redirects them to your WhatsApp page. Okay, now there's a way we can do that. I'll give that to you all as an assignment. Okay, find out if you are interested. It's not compulsory. Find out how you could make it such that after someone fills this form, on clicking submit, they can be redirected to another page altogether outside Google Forms. Okay, so this is all we need to cover as far as Google Forms is concerned. Going by our time, it's already 9:51, and I would not want us to stay longer because some persons have already even left the training. Okay, so I want to keep this training to at least 1 hour or maximum 1 hour 30 minutes. But I'm sure if I continue with the next thing I have in mind, would exceed another hour. So because of this, we would um, end our class for this session. So this will be all for tonight. Are there any questions that you want me to answer before we call it a night? Are there any questions, whether on these lessons for tonight or on the videos that I have sent out to be watched? Are there any kind of questions or any confusions anywhere? Meanwhile, Priska, please kindly copy this link. Okay, kindly copy this link for me. Or don't worry, don't worry. Let me copy it and I'll send it to my WhatsApp. Are there questions you have? Who are those still in the room, or is everybody asleep? Grace, Kingsley,
I
Augusta,
don't have any questions, sir.
okay. Delight, Priska, Queenette. Does it mean you understood everything I taught?
I don't have any questions, sir. Well understood.
All right then. So on this note, thank you very much for joining in, and we'll be seeing in the next class. Okay.
Good night.